Billy Maguire, everybody, Billy Maguire.
Hello, I'm back in Meath. How fucking happy am I? How are we doing? My name's Billy, as Paul so eloquently said, and I am, you may have already noticed, a sweaty sock. A little Scotsman. I live in Derby now, but wherever I've lived in life, always been loud and proud to be a Scotsman. And why indeed should I not be? For we Scots not an old race, an ancient race, tied through time and tradition to the antiquated peoples of the world, while in the outback of Australia, Aborigines go walkabout. Outback of Glasgow, we Scots go drink about. Now it is more or less the same thing, except we actually don't know where the fuck we've been. And you just can't get an Aborigine to eat a kebab. The Scots, an old race, a superstitious race. Among the things Scots find unlucky: sobriety, prompt payment, frontal attack, vegetables, underwear. Oh yeah, we've been going commando from a time when it was pronounced Comanche. The other thing I should mention is that I got on the stage, you may have noticed, I've got a bit of a limp. Now, I don't know why I'm reticent to speak of it. I was involved in an accident of a personal and somewhat embarrassing nature. My penis got caught in my wife's best friend. No, you're absolutely right, without any doubt at all. That is an avoidable accident. I won't lie to you, in some small way I do feel responsible. But it does not justify what my wife done. When she ran downstairs, she went to the knife thrower, she got the sharpest, biggest knife, she came back upstairs, she grabbed me by my manhood, and she cut my knob off. And Shakespeare the Bard, he says, hell hath no fury as a woman scorned, and I do believe that Shakespeare might be right, because my wife was not satisfied with having cut my knob off. She jumps up, she goes after her best friend, and she cut his knob off too. The other thing you might notice is that unlike a lot of the comedians that you see these days, I'm not young. Indeed, I'm getting quite old. I say quite old. I can remember hope. Oh really? If I could choose a superpower, I'd be gets to the toilet on time, man. Good news, I can still get an erection. Bad news, only on a bus. See, the laugh that confused me. But what it brings to me, the advantage it gives me, being that, you know, above and beyond these kiddie comics, is that I've lived through what a lot of these children would call history. Buddy Holly, the Beatles, the rise of rock and roll, 1969, the summer of free love. I was there! I didn't fucking get any. No, I was only 10. But the big boys let me listen while they talked about it, and that was groovy. Right? But those few happy moments aside, I had without doubt what you would call a hard childhood. I had an imaginary bully. He was invisible. You can't fight that. The 70s turned to the 80s. 1985, I went to a free Nelson Mandela concert. I didn't get one. Living through the 80s, I lived through Thatcherism. Now, a lot of people just naturally assume that because I'm Scottish, I'm glad that Margaret Thatcher's dead. Well, we're all Celtic brothers together, I'll tell you the truth. I was perfectly happy when she was just in constant pain. The 80s turned to the 90s. In 1992, I attempted to enter the magic circle, but that girl moved her arse at the last minute. You're right. I met a girl, fell in love. We did what lovers do. We went to the big film of the decade, Free Willy. In truth, I think she was more disappointed than me. The girl I fell in love with was Dutch, so I followed my nether regions onto the Netherlands now. It's possible that that's Shakespeare. I'm really not sure, because in truth, the nearest I ever got to reading Shakespeare was listening to an album by his sister. But I moved to Holland, and here I'm hoping I can garnish a little sympathy for the boys, because in the city I lived in Holland, I lived on one side of the red light area, but I worked on the other. And resultantly, I had to walk through, let's face it, the most beautiful women in the world, garnished in lingerie, served under glass. But I was just an ordinary man. I was just a working man. I could afford no sort of intercourse with these young ladies. And when I say these young ladies, we're talking about girls who had anal on their foreplay list. But I could afford none of that. But what I did like to do from time to time was lick the window. And run like fuck. Oh yeah, I have made an Amsterdam whore feel both dirty and used. How bad am I? And the noughties I returned to Britain. I moved to Wales. I started to learn about Welsh culture. I learned about the Eisteddfod, right? Where every year the great brains of Wales and the Welsh language, they gather together, and the thing that I explained to the English looks a bit like Glastonbury if Glastonbury was clean. and of course, as you no doubt know, the point of the thing is to choose the greatest poet in the Welsh language, and when you choose the greatest poet in the Welsh language, you quite beautifully get the best carpenter in Wales to carve them a very beautiful chair. And should a man or a woman be the greatest poet in the Welsh language, on more than one occasion, twice say, on that second occasion, they will indeed get the best carpenter, the best wood craftsman in Wales, to carve them a second chair. But no matter how great a poet you are, there is no fucking way to get a sofa. But I moved back to Britain, and times had changed. Attitudes had changed. We had 24-hour news. Can somebody please tell the BBC I do not actually need to be told what the weather is like where I am? I can work that out through a system I call the window. And that bit where they tell you what the weather was like last night, surely that's a thing, predicting yesterday's weather. Surely a thing we could do for ourselves. And it wasn't just 24-hour news, because we had reality television. Jeremy Kyle. Proof, if proof were required, that attractive people, they just don't have problems. How to look good naked. Keep your clothes on. Dim the light. I've always found beer's a great help. Do you know what I'd like to see? Gok Wan versus Predator. How to look good shredded. Where was I going next? You've seen me before. What was I going to say next? Yeah, the world had changed. The world's moving on. Recession, double dip recession, triple dip recession. The Prime Minister, the Chancellor, they're scratching, they're desperate, they're doing all they can to stop this nation slipping into depression. This is the valleys We've got medication for that. and you what? What happened? Oh yeah, right. And all these clever fuckers, right? They all get together in their G8 and their G20. They go to the best hotels in the world. They all sit there and they contemplate the problem. They think about the problem. They get into the minutiae of the problem. But the problem is not complicated. If we're going to save ourselves, we're going to have to save the planet first. We all know what's required. We need to get out of the car. We need to get on the bus. We need to get on the train. But these clever fuckers, they don't know how to make us want to give up the car, to get on the train. They don't know how to make us want to get on a bus. Give us one each. That'll fix it. Right? But as I look back, I asked myself, I have no regrets. True, I stole the disabled kid's wheelchair, but that's just how I roll. I'm going to get the fuck out your face so that you can have the wonderful Gary Delaney even more of. Okay, thank you very much, Keith. I have left you as always.
Billy McGuire, everybody! Billy McGuire.